May peace and blessings be upon you all. Hi guys, this is Shahadat and I'm going to make a review video of Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev where he tried to answer this specific question from this lady. Well, let's play the video first so you can hear the question, and then I'll give you my understanding of the question so that further down it helps us to analyze the response. Okay, so here it goes.
Sadhguru, we youngsters nowadays have less control over our emotions. So how to react in situations where our beloved or close ones betray us?
That's a good question, because even though we don't want these sort of things to happen in our lives, but it happens. And it happens more than we would want, actually. So it's a good idea to be equipped with wisdom that can help us to deal with situations like this if it turns out. Now, in the question, there are two things to note. I'm trying to make them explicit here because I seem to see, according to my understanding, I see that many of you guys don't really take these ideas seriously enough. So the first thing is she's talking about loved ones and betrayal. So think about these two terms, loved ones. Let's spend a little bit of time to understand what loved ones mean. Loved ones, obviously, she didn't really restrict it or define it in a very clear way. So based on her question now, loved ones can be a host of people, right? Your mom and dad, they're your loved ones. Your children, they're loved ones. Your siblings, they're some loved ones. Then your friends, they're loved ones. Your relatives, they're loved ones. Your neighbors, they're loved ones. In some, in various measures, in various categories, right? So that is the concept of loved ones. And the second question is, the second term is betrayal. Now, what do we understand from betrayal? If we say that somebody has betrayed me, what will that mean? If I tell you that somebody has betrayed me, what will you understand? You will understand that, excuse me, there was some sort of agreement between the two of us, the person who betrayed me. There was some sort of agreement between the two of us, and we agreed to conduct our life based on that agreement. And after a while, after some time, after following that or abiding by that agreement for a while, now suddenly we have gone, or we have discarded or ignored the agreement, and we are doing something that is against the agreement. That is what we call betrayal, right? Now, if we look a little bit closely into this concept of betrayal, because betrayal is by definition based on an action of somebody, so betrayal can be a host of things as well. Betrayal can happen because of a host of things that we might do. But the key point is betrayal only happens when two parties agreed on something and later on they disobeyed the agreement without properly discussing it with the other party. All right? So that will be betrayal. Now, when we say we are in an agreement, now there are lots of things that can that we can agree on. There are explicit things that you can have in an agreement. There are implicit things that you can have in an agreement. Okay, so for example, let's take the simplest example, which is about, say, marriage. So you want to marry somebody from a certain culture. Say, for example, let's take the example of you are guy from, say, North India, where they don't eat fish at all, and you want to marry a Bengali girl, where they eat fish every day. Then the implicit contract agreement between the two of you is that she might want to eat fish at times, time to time, and you might want to not eat fish because of your cultural upbringing. So this, when you agree to get married, this is an implicit agreement. You just understand, I mean, that's how it has got to be. It's an implicit agreement that after marriage, you will stay together. You will have a conjugal life, you will have sexual intercourse, and you will have a family together, you will have your children. So these are all implicit agreements. And the explicit agreement, the simplest example I can think of is the one where, say, for a Muslim man, religiously, a Muslim man is allowed to have maximum 4 wives at the same time. Okay, so as a Muslim man, I can want to have 4 wives, but my wife, if I'm already married, say I've got 1 wife, my wife doesn't want to agree to that. Then she, during our marriage, she can make it clear that I do not want you to take another wife while we are in this relationship. This is an explicit agreement. Now, if that suits me, I can say, okay, no problem, I agree. Or if that doesn't suit me, then I say, no, I cannot agree to that. And we either do the contract or not do it based on how we look at it. So now, if I agree that, yes, I'm not going to take a second wife or third wife, sign the contract, and 2 years down the line, I suddenly get married again, I bring a second wife, and I bring the second wife home. That is a betrayal. That is a betrayal of a explicit agreement. And the betrayal of an implicit agreement will be the cultural impact that I gave the example to you. If you want your Bengali wife never to eat fish ever again, that will be a cultural betrayal. Now, obviously, the weight of these 2 betrayals are different. Cultural betrayal, your wife might think about it, and based on how much she cares about you, how much she values this relationship, she might agree, okay, he doesn't like me having fish, I will give up eating fish. She can do that, but if fish is something really important for her, then she can say, sorry, I cannot agree to that, because when we got married, these were our implicit understanding. You married a Bengali girl, and Bengali girl eat fishes. So you cannot now say that you can never eat fish, right? So that's one sort of way. But this other example where I just brought my second wife, and this is a much more big problem for my first wife, who explicitly said I couldn't bring a second wife, right? Now, I mean, even in this situation, she might agree to accept it for reasons, but she will be absolutely right. It will be in her right to simply say that, I'm sorry, I cannot accept this, and if this is how you want to lead your life, this contract we are going to break, and I will always look at you as a betrayer, and you have to pay some consequences because you agreed to something and later on you broken the treaty, and that breaking this treaty, your action has an impact on my life. So that needs to be very clear. So based on all these nuances, all these different phenomena, what did we agree on, what sort of the relationship between us, two siblings, or husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or relative, or business partner. Based on that, it will vary quite a bit. Then the question of what has actually taken place, that will make lots of different scenarios. But let's look at Sadhguru's response. And I was actually shocked to see how generalized his answer is. And such generalized answers means, for those who do not understand what it means, it's giving one solution for all sorts of problems. That is a generalized solution. So without really looking into the specific problems, if you give a solution to all of them, I mean, it's like, doesn't matter what your disease is, you are always given this one pill, paracetamol. You have got cancer, take paracetamol. You have got something else, take paracetamol. That will be like a generalized solution for different kinds of problems. And for human lives and for practical reasons, generalized solutions are terrible things. They should always be avoided, or at least made explicit that I'm giving you a generalized thing. It will not apply to individual cases. It may not apply to individual cases. So the example could be, say you come and complain about pain. Now, pain can be caused by lots of different reasons. You've got cancer, that's why you've got pain. You played football after 20 years, that's why you've got pain. And you've got temperature, you've got pain. There are a host of reasons why you can have pain. Now, you ask me about pain, I simply tell you, for pain you take paracetamol. Right, that is a generalized answer. But then I can say that, but based on what is causing that pain, you should consult a doctor and get specialized medicine for that. So that's how we should look at problems in our lives. But look at what Sadhguru does.
This girl is already heartbroken.
Not a good joke.
Somebody can betray you, or you can think they will betray you only because you have unrealistic expectations of them.
Immediately you see he is giving you an idea of, I mean, whatever he's talking about, he's not talking about betrayal. Betrayal has to have a contract, has to have some sort of agreement, and based on that, you feel betrayed. So if we use the word betrayed, then the idea of you having some superficial expectation doesn't apply in that situation. Because if you come up with that sort of a argument, like the example I gave, now your husband, you want your Bengali wife to give up eating fish, that was superficial. Yeah, that was something you shouldn't have expected. And at that point, it's not a betrayal. If she wants to eat fish, it is not a betrayal. It is just your misunderstanding. Right. But betrayal is a totally different thing. Boys seem to be very happy.
Well, if they do what they want to do, why do you think they have betrayed you? They're doing what they want to do, you must respect it. If you say, they're beloved to me, I love them. If you love a person, should you let them do what they want to do, or should they do what you want them to do? For most people, love means you must do what I want.
So, do you see the generalization here? blanket statement. If they want to do, if they like to do whatever they want to do, why would you stop? Let's consider this example. You are married. Okay, you are married to this lady, your wife, and you married her based on your understanding of what a marriage is, and you agreed that you will, implicit agreement that you will live together, you will form a family, and suddenly she turns up one day at home and she brings a couple of guys with her and she says, you know, these are my friends who I take drugs with, and I would really love to have drugs today at home, and then I will have sex with these two. And I want you to watch me doing that. I would really love that. Based on this solution that Sadhguru just gave, as the man, you should just be, I mean, if you feel somehow not okay with it, you should slap yourself, because why? How come? They just love doing this. She's going to enjoy doing this. So who are you to say no? Right? Does that make sense to you?
No, love means they can do what they want and we will love them.
No, that's not what it means.
You have this thing that if I love you, you must listen to me.
There are some situations where this is how it is, but that's the problem. We need to look at individual cases and give solutions to individual cases. You cannot give on a public speech, you cannot just give a blanket statement for all sorts of things with all sorts of problems. You cannot give one solution, because that's not going to work. The example that I gave, where the wife brought two of her friends and want to have sex in front of the husband now, after enjoying or taking drugs, it will be very valid for the husband to disagree to do that, disagree to let that happen. Right?
No, if I love you, I want you to do what brings joy to you, isn't it? You must change the concept of your beloved.
But Sadhguru, I have a doubt regarding this. What if our loved ones are going in a way that's not good for them and we want to correct them, and that's why we are telling them?
Then you should have been the mother.
In some cultures, if you tell somebody that you should have been the mother, they would actually take it as a massive insult. And if you think about it, obviously, from the way the question is being asked, I can kind of like see that they are thinking about the conjugal relationship in this particular context, rather than thinking about all sorts of relationships. I mean, parents and children relationship, right? But that's not what you're talking about here. This is more about conjugal relationship, and if a wife wants to care about the husband, and if the husband is trying to do something that is detrimental to him or to the family or to her, suddenly the husband shows up at home drunk, and he takes the knife and he says, "Honey, I want to kill you. I really want to kill you. I'm going to stab you 20 times. I'm going to chop your hands off, and that'll make me so happy." Should you just be okay with it? My husband, I love him so much. Okay, let me go and stand in front of him and bring the knife and help him to do, because he would love to do it. Does that make sense?
Because I'm not saying that. It is never true that somebody may be going off track and you try to do something for them. I'm not saying it's never true. But you don't take this position that somebody is wrong and you're going to fix them. They're doing what they want to do, isn't it? What they want to do right now may not be beneficial for them, possible. But you must look at it sincerely. Are you complaining because it's not beneficial for them, or you're complaining because it's not beneficial for you? Most of the time it's this.
We need to think about the contract at this point, because we are calling it a betrayal. It felt like a betrayal is because of the prior agreement. So if somebody agreed to behave in a certain way in the past, and now they are not abiding by that agreement, that's when it's a betrayal, right? Now again, Sadhguru is right on this particular point, where you have to look at what they want to do. Your husband he never had beard, and now he wants to have a beard because he somehow got the idea of having a beard. He thinks he'll look really nice. And it was your implicit understanding, because that's how he was always. He never had a beard when you got married. So it was an implicit understanding. You didn't write in your contract that you can never have beard. But the understanding in your mind was that he will not grow a beard. But now he wants to grow a beard. One way to address this is you can speak to him. If you are totally not okay with this concept, if it feels like if you feel really strongly about it, you can tell him, see, you can do it, but it will just make me unhappy. That's one way of addressing it. The other way of addressing it is you look at him and you think, well, beard, it's not a big deal. And yeah, he will look a little different, but he may actually look a way that I would probably like. And okay, if he likes to have it, it doesn't change the man he is, so I'll go with it. So based on how strongly you are affected by it, you make a judgment call and go forward. But obviously, if it is something tiny like this, but if it is something that is going to change your life, impact your life, and change your things upside down, obviously we have to listen to what you have to say as well. You cannot just simply say, you are being judgmental, you are being control freak, because that's not always true, right?
Genuinely look at it. It's not beneficial for you, but it's good for them, please let them do it. But they are damaging themselves, yes, then you have a right to intervene and try to do your best. But not always can you enter somebody's life and do something for them.
He said, not always, but it's not you are trying to intervene anybody's life, right? You are trying to intervene on the life of somebody who you are in a relationship with. And the relationship, the way the relationship started is that you two agreed to do certain things in a specific way. If two Hindu, a Hindu boy and a Hindu girl gets married, then it's understandable that they will do their puja ceremonies at home. It's a given thing, which will not exactly be the same if a Muslim man marries a Hindu girl. There will be, now you have to talk and make explicit agreements in terms of how you are going to conduct your life. Right. So, but if we do decide to get married, then we are giving each other the privilege, the right to intervene on our life if they think we are doing something that is not right. If they think we are doing something that is detrimental to ourselves or to them or to the family or to people around us, right? They have that right.
If I have to enter your life and do something for you, I have to earn it, isn't it? I have to earn a relationship where I can intervene in your life. If you don't earn that, you cannot intervene. So if you're unable to intervene, you must just understand you have not earned that.
Are you okay with that solution? You got married 5 years down the line. Now suddenly your spouse wants to do some the simple example, your spouse now brought few other people and want to do things in front of you. You should just be okay with it, and you just think, well, I haven't earned it. Or the logical way of looking at it is, this is a clear betrayal, because based on our relationship we agreed on certain things and this is not one of them, and this is actually against, this act is against the agreements that we have, right? So just giving a free pass to somebody who's doing whatever they want to do, and you are feeling bad, and Sadhguru's solution is basically telling you, shut up, just suck it up. Do you think that's logical?
Closeness.
That was the end of the video, and hope you can appreciate why I'm complaining to this generalized solution, because this solution is not applicable to all, and it needs a lot more nuanced approach, and none of you should really take this as a principle in your life to deal with the betrayals that you are finding or observing in your life. You have to look into each situation. You shouldn't accept everything your partner is doing or the other party in the relationship is doing, but you might want to do that as well based on what they're doing and the rest of it. And you shouldn't feel, you shouldn't feel, based on the solution that Sadhguru has given, I'm pretty sure for a girl, if she finds her partner doing things that she doesn't like, which is detrimental, she would now feel guilty to even tell him or her, if the partner is a girl, that you shouldn't do this. It is having an impact on us. Why? Because now she will just feel that, who am I? But we addressed that question right at the beginning. When we established that relationship, immediately we defined who we are. Immediately we gave each other right to intervene in our life. So 5 years down the line, now I cannot suddenly start thinking, who am I? Because that's ridiculous. So that's my reason of actually not agreeing with this solution or this generalized solution, even though he hinted on the specifics at times. But overall message is, if you see somebody is betraying you, it is either you are wrong, you are asking too much, or you haven't earned the right, you haven't earned the relationship, the status in the relationship where you can do that. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, if you guys can see what the problems are, or if you think I have misunderstood the whole thing in a certain way, please leave comments explaining why you think I've missed it, or how I should have probably looked into it, based on my background, because I'm Muslim. Some of you sometimes just take that as a prejudice and start throwing things at me. You can do that. I don't really care, but doing that doesn't help any of us. Rather, if you can really think about the problem that you're talking about and give me an idea of what I've missed, that way I will be able to rectify myself, and probably in the future I will not make make the same mistake. So with that, I hope to see you again. Take care, and bye-bye.